What's up? This is the Epic Tiki Podcast. I'm Luke Soin. This is my guest, Jeremy Greene,
What's good, y'all?
also known as G-Mile.
You got it. Remember, that's so silky
Yeah.
the way you say that.
G-Mile.
Yeah. Ooh.
I don't have a good voice for silkiness. It's
Well, in some parts of the world, that'd be very silky.
okay. Yeah. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just here, on Chinese New Year's is the official start of the year of the rat.
Is it today?
Yes, today, yeah.
Oh, okay. That explains the shoes. He's got some really
I know
cool
we're going to be at a show right there.
Chinese New Year Jordans there.
Shout out to Jay Schwang up in Shanghai. He's my hookup. Holla if you need me, kind of status.
Does he work somewhere or does he just know how to get them?
He just know how to get them.
Oh, okay.
He's a basketball coach out there at Shanghai American School, and he's a sneakerhead. You know what I mean? So he got the connections. He got them Taiwanese kind of connections too. So he's all over the world trying to get the holy grail of shoes, if you will.
Yeah. Does he have a collection, like a bunch of good ones?
Oh man, if you go and follow Jay Schwang at Shanghai Seoul on Instagram, he's got a whole mess of shoes. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love you, Jay, but it's ridiculous. Just saying.
I've been like sort of getting more into sneakers, but I still don't get a ton of. You can't just buy like 100.
Yeah.
Because you want to, but I like to look at them and be like, that one would be cool to have.
Yeah.
I got NMDs on. Those are fun.
Yeah. These are, Adidas is.
These are so comfy too.
My Adidas, they look comfortable, man. Like,
yeah.
you real wavy with that, kid. Just saying, real wavy.
Dang, I feel so not cool. What is wavy? What does wavy?
You just on a new flow, a new wave.
Okay.
A trendsetter. That's what it all is, man.
I feel like I'm hanging out with a Gen Z kid.
Oh man,
but
we're
Are
millennials.
you
That's
Yeah,
what people
yeah.
tell us, and I'm a little upset. I thought millennials was people born after 2000, like the new millennium.
Uh-huh.
And then my homies like Diana and Brett up in Edmonton, Canada, were like, "No, dog, you a millennial, man. That's like anybody born like after 78 or some weird year like that."
Yeah, it's actually a pretty big like reach or a like range. That's the word I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, it's a spectrum of millennial kind of people, you know what I mean? So you always hear the stereotypes, millennials are lazy and like, get off my lawn, okay, boomer status, you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I ain't like that. I got a full-time job, man. Like, I pay my taxes. I'm paying your Social Security, bruh. Like, how dare you? Like, so I don't know.
You wouldn't believe how many times I've heard "get off my lawn."
Tell me about that. Let's explore that a little bit. How many times have you heard that?
Never.
Never. Oh. Well, you still got a long life to live, baby.
Yeah, I don't. Typically I don't run on people's lawns. I use the sidewalk.
Well, I mean, what is a lawn if you're not like really enjoying the whole spectrum of the lawn? So the running, the standing, the laying, the marinating, the barbecuing, the picnicking. I mean, lawn is meant to be enjoyed.
If someone has a nice lawn in the front and they're not sharing it, it's like that's kind of fucked up,
Yeah, it's a little upsetting, isn't it?
Yeah, they should share. Have the good lawn in the backyard, so I don't just take a nap on it. I mean, come on.
I mean, it's just going to be temptation like that. I mean, how are they going to do that to people? That's what I'm saying. Like, how are you going to have a well-cultivated, manicured lawn and not, share it with the masses? So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, so we'll stand on the lawn together.
I'm glad that this came up so early in the podcast because I've been thinking about this.
I can imagine. Well, we're on the same page, That's,
Yeah,
I mean, I've been thinking about it for a while too.
We're wavy right now.
We're so wavy.
But yeah, the Chinese New Year, that's cool. You lived in China for a long time.
Yes,
Is it
I
weird
did.
to come back now?
So I lived in China for about 2 years. I worked at Shanghai American School as a school psychologist. So
Yeah.
also was doing like the poetry scene and the rapping scene, and
Yeah.
obviously every once in a while dancing under the pale moonlight, but no devils though, because I'm a good Christian man. I'm saved. Dang it, just saying. Shout out to FT Baptist Church down in Louisiana, real quick. But anyway, so get back to my flow. Yeah, I lived there about 2 years, man. So I learned a little bit of Chinese, so Xin Ni and Kuai La, that's Happy New Year, you know what I'm saying? And I got a level 1 proficiency in Chinese. It's called the HSK1 exam.
Oh, wow.
So it's for foreigners, so you taking it, and you don't have to read characters on it, and you don't have to write characters.
You just have to be able to speak.
Yeah, so it's listening is what they call pinyin. basically, it's like the phonetic pronunciation of the characters and stuff like that too. So it's all, in kind of those letters and stuff like that, and you just sound it out and try to listen, try to answer the questions correctly, and next thing you know, you got a, this soul brother number one speaking a little bit of Chinese, a little EDN. That's the Shanghai version of a little bit.
Is it pronounced Shanghai there?
Yeah, so G's are a little bit silent out there.
Yeah.
So if anybody actually is fluent in Chinese out there and they're like, listen to this brother trying to speak like he, like he a local and stuff like that, apologies. I'm not trying to be appropriating with the flow.
It's hard to, isn't there like words have different tones and then that means the meaning is different?
Yeah,
so.
you got 4 tones, so you got, huh, no, you go, huh, and then huh. So there's 4 different tones. Yeah. Of course, it's on.
Sounds very sexy.
I mean, well, what's more sexier than red and gold, baby? And that's the colors of China, baby. It's a legendary country, and
that's true. Those are silky colors.
I mean, very silky. I mean, I get you a nice little Chinese little robe too. When I go back in March, hopefully after everything calmed down, we got a couple little situations there in China. In terms of health, related issues out there with the people, unfortunately.
The virus.
So,
yeah.
But like I read on, some of my people who are a little bit more, feel the burn, Bernie Sanders type, they're like, look, if you worried about that virus, you better be worried about the flu. I mean, the flu killed like almost 1 million people around worldwide a year. So get your flu shot. It's mid-season for flu season, man. So I'm just saying, that's what I at least. But in reality, it's a little scary when it's a new virus and it's just creeping up on people and you don't have no vaccines or no understanding. So I think that's a little leap for some of my people to be like, oh, well, you worried about that. You need to get the flu shot. Yeah. Well, I'll get the flu shot too, but this neural corona kind of virus, there is no shot. There is no vaccine.
I didn't read about it yet. Is it like killing a lot of people, or is it everyone just getting sick?
Yeah, it's getting a lot of people sick, but a lot of people that are passing away are kind of like,
like a flu, like old people,
older people with weakened immunities, younger folk and things like that. So last I checked, on BBC.com and New York Times and CNN, because I have all these random alerts come on my iPhone 7 because I'm not that wavy. I don't got the new iPhone. But, all these alerts coming up saying mostly it's older people that are passing away, unfortunately. But, so it's pretty like, apocalypse now, Z generation right now. They locked down the whole area of Wuhan, where it, originated from. And people aren't allowed to travel. Apparently, this is the most... Like in terms of the Chinese New Year's, this is the most people that migrate around the world, like 400-something million, what I read. Because Chinese New Year's is like a 15-day long kind of, excursion.
So is it like vacation time for people?
It's vacation time, yeah. And the Chinese don't really have, like we would say, like Easter, Sunday breaks or Christmas breaks or things like that. They working nonstop a lot, so you got,
Well, we got to buy stuff that comes from there. So what are we gonna buy if they're not? I'm joking because we have. Do you ever go? I don't know. I feel like such a I don't know what word to use, but just like I go to Target sometimes and I'm like, what is all this stuff for? Like most people already have all the things so you go to Target and you're just like, oh, here's a $5 shirt. Like I don't know. It's just weird. It's like we're always just making stuff.
Yeah.
To sell it so that you have, I don't know.
Because just some random woman back in the day or some random man back in the day, whether it's, John or Karen, was like, you know what? I wish that Target carried this kind of shirt, with the little puppy dog with little dragon ears on top. So maybe they should create that. And then all of a sudden it comes into Target. So like I said, a lot of
it's just always there's like more stuff. I mean, I'm just like thinking about it too much because I know most people are just, they go to the store and they buy things and they're like, oh, that's fun. And they buy it and they take it home and then they're a hoarder. Yeah. I don't know. I've been thinking about that more lately.
So you're becoming a
consumerism.
Yeah, you're becoming a minimalist, aren't you? You know what a minimalist is, right?
Yeah. I don't know if, I'm not getting rid of a bunch of stuff, but I only like to keep things I need, I guess. I got rid of 2 bags of clothes recently.
Wow.
Felt good.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
When did you get rid of them, though?
Last week and the week before that.
Okay, you missed tax season then. I was just saying, if you got rid of them December 31st, could claim that on your taxes because, we're trying to be financially smart here in 2020. Just saying.
Yes.
But it's all good. You did it out of the charity and the kindness of your heart.
Yeah.
And you're a minimalist.
Mostly it was because I didn't want it anymore. And then I always say, oh, no, I don't need a receipt. And now I'm like, maybe I should have done that.
hey, you come around me, I'll help you with your tax situation too.
Yeah.
But I ain't making that much money. Not anymore.
Oh.
In Shanghai, man. Whew. That school,
was it
boy,
like a private school?
It was private school. So international
okay.
school, pre-K 3 to senior year.
Yeah.
So I was a school psychologist throughout that whole range. So from 3 years old to 18, I was working with all kids. So
that's a lot of good experience, though, right? Like, did you get a new job at a school here yet, or are you still looking?
Yeah, I came back to the same school I left. So I was very fortunate and lucky to have a leave of absence from them.
Oh, nice.
So I'm back working in the same district I was beforehand, and got a good reputation with them.
Yeah.
So I'm really appreciative of that.
But they were like, here's the same amount of money. Sorry. But welcome back.
Well, you know what's funny, though? Actually, the salary situation is better here. Because you have to do the exchange rate. So they were paying us in Chinese currency and then exchanging it into U.S. dollars. So in terms of salary, I'm making more here. But it's the cost of living that everybody knows. That's why people are fleeing to Arizona, Nevada. People even going to Idaho, man. Idaho, that's like the lost tribe of Shabazz out there, man. Nobody know what's going on in Idaho except for potatoes. BYU out there, but what else is? And then they got Boise State with the blue football field.
Wait, isn't BYU? That's in Idaho? I thought that was Utah.
They got BYU's in Utah, in
there's
Hawaii,
more than one.
and in Idaho. Provo, if I remember. I might have said the wrong place. I think it's Provo. Or is that Utah? That might be Utah.
Provo's Utah.
Yeah, Utah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Wherever Idaho's BYU is, they'll correct us on the comments. So just, forgive me.
Comment, because no one else does. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the salary's a little better here. But like I said, the cost of living, they took care of a lot of things at these international schools, man. Shanghai American School is one of those high-powered, what they call the golden handcuffs. Because people don't want to leave because the pay is pretty good. Yeah. But it's, paying for the rent, the utilities. You don't have to drive out there. Food is cheaper. I mean, I had a maid, which we call IE. IE means auntie in Chinese, that would come every Sunday. She'd cook food. She'd cook all types of food.
Wow.
From, mi and tiao, that's your kind of noodles, from your mi fan, which is your cooked rice, to just good old-fashioned hambao. You know what hambao means?
Is it? No.
Hamburger.
Oh, I thought it was bao, like a little bao, like a.
Well, that's what the hamburger looks like when you look at it, a little bao,
I guess so, yeah. It's exposed around the middle, though. Mm-hmm. Well, it's like two baos on a burger, and then I can see it. It's like a cousin of it.
Yeah, it's like a long lost distant relative of the the bao tribe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good experience, man. But you running around basically, being a school psychologist, which represents, doing counseling and assessments for learning disabilities, as well as crisis prevention, intervention, and postvention, so kids that are suicidal or might have even committed suicide, major natural acts of God, situations like storms and tsunamis, things of that nature. Yeah. That's the nature of our job as school psychologists, and other things like, behavior management, meetings on top of meetings on top of meetings,
I hate meetings.
It's just ridiculous. We got too many meetings.
Yeah.
But it was, that job can be a little complex out there. Trying, and then also in terms of special education, which is mainly what I work with. So students with different learning profiles, right?
Yeah.
When you're in a country that doesn't really have a concept of that, in terms of what is ADHD, what is dyslexia, aka reading disability. What do you mean my kid has quote unquote a problem? That can be a little challenging for the kind of family populations that we had out there. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm trying to go back to visit in March. What I'm saying? But hopefully this whole virus thing, calms down. We might have to call the Wu-Tang Clan to go, and smack it one time upside the head. I'm just saying, Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang. Sorry, got a little.
Send the killer bees.
Got a little wavy. Sorry. All right.
A little too wavy. Sorry.
Oh man, tsunami, baby.
That's cool. Yeah, I would like to visit China someday, but it just feels so daunting. It's like such a different place. Yeah. But I guess Shanghai is it's a lot more Western than the rest of the country, right?
Yeah, it's an international city, it's a port city, so the reality is, you got that international flavor.
And they're not communist; they're very capitalist, right?
Well, not to get political, but
let's do it.
I mean, China has capitalistic tendencies, right? But it's all with Chinese characteristics, so it's still communism per se, right? But the reality is they still trying to make that money.
Yeah.
They're still trying to make that top dollar. You're still walking around seeing the latest Teslas and Gucci bags and stuff like that. I mean, it is capitalism per se,
Yeah.
but they're just doing it in their own sort of way. The reality is Shanghai is a little bit more laissez-faire and laid back when it comes to some of those, stereotypical kind of, strict kind of restrictions that the rest of mainland China has.
Yeah.
It's close as you'll get to, that kind of Hong Kong experience without being in Hong Kong.
Oh, wait. Okay, I'm stupid. I think I was mixing it up with Hong Kong. Because Shanghai's, is that in mainland China? And then Hong Kong. Okay, Hong Kong's the one I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. I've been to Hong Kong. I
Okay.
was there a year ago for vacation, Chinese New Year's last year.
That's the one that's capitalist.
Yeah, I mean, Hong Kong's
They're like a separate, because they had a weird thing with the British Empire and
You
blah,
got
blah,
it.
blah.
You
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it. Yeah, they had that whole colonization, colonialism going on.
Yeah.
The Queen, God save the Queen, had all these little, vacation properties around the world.
Those
Hong Kong was one of them. But they gave back Hong Kong to mainland China in the late 90s. And
Yeah, I remember that as a
yeah.
kid. Like, I forget, my parents went to China like on a big trip, but then I
Okay.
didn't go. Like, my sister and I went to my cousin's house, and I think they were talking about that a bunch, because I just remember it being a big deal. Like, oh man, they're giving it back. Like, whoa.
yeah. Yeah, pretty surreal. I mean, now you got a situation where it's like, Hong Kong and China and mainland China, you got two different worlds out there, really, and Hong Kong's existed in this separate space forever. And so to try to, come back around to, what the Communist Party wants, what the rest of mainland China is following, it's kind of this delicate dance, because they can't really make Hong Kong be completely like mainland China, because there's too many international investors in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is basically, as close to a westernized society as you can get in mainland China, right? But at the same time, it's still China. I mean, they're on their own little semi-autonomous kind of, situation, but it's still China. It's still China, and so you got a lot of young folks that are trying to figure it out. A lot of the people who are leadership, in mainland China trying to figure it out, and hopefully it's a peaceful kind of situation and things like that. Because I mean, China's a beautiful place, Hong Kong's a beautiful place, but with anything, regarding power and philosophy and belief systems, it can get a little complex. As a Christian man, that sometimes happens, wink, wink, nudge, nudge,
Yeah.
Shout out to my Auntie Peggy out there in Louisiana. Just want to give her a shout out.
Is she watching?
She might be. You never know.
Oh, shit. Subscribe. Oh, man. No. Yeah, that's great. I went to Canada.
Oh, yeah. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah.
I've talked about it, but I don't know who's watching. Anyways, I went. This comic Jimmy Earl, he does shows like all over the country in Canada and stuff like that, and sometimes in Europe. And he started wanting to do like a vlog video companion type of thing to his shows to post on like YouTube and Facebook. So like he hired me to film things, but then I get to go with him and like do a set at the show.
Nice.
And then so it's like. So we went to Vancouver, and we basically like left early in the morning, flew to Seattle, and landed at like in rush hour traffic.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then we drove to Vancouver, and then we went to dinner with his friends. He went to high school with like 12 people, because like he grew up. He's from Toronto, but he grew up in a suburb of Vancouver, and so like they had like a small high school, I guess. And so, like, the dinner was, like, literally half of his class. and so after that, then we went to the club, Yuck Yucks, which is, like, a really, like, it's, like, it's like the Improv, but for Canada, I guess.
Okay, cool.
So it's pretty cool. Like, it was really awesome to, like, get a video and, like, film myself doing a set there and have that logo sitting up there. And, like...
That's legendary.
Yeah, it just feels good. I mean, it's not, it's
WAVY.
not like I work there. They're not going to bring me back.
Yeah.
But please do.
I mean, let them come back. Why not,
Yeah.
I saw the video of it a little bit. I thought you did amazing, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought you did real good, man. So that's why I'm sitting here right now representing with you, because you got talent.
If I hadn't had that video, you wouldn't be here.
Oh, I mean, for real, no.
Yeah.
I saw you on that stage. I was like, good gosh, I got to hang out with that guy more often. He got all this silky hair, not out of place and stuff like that. Man, goodness gracious. Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah, it was fun. And then after the show, we drove back to Seattle that night and flew home. So I was home at like 7 a.m.
Jesus.
It was like 23 hours of being awake in a row.
Oh, my gosh. Well, when you're in Vancouver, which is a beautiful city, man, you can't sleep often. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, we didn't really see it, but I think he wants to go back. So hopefully we'll go. And then I maybe like stay a day or two and like see it, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's supposed to be a really great place.
Vancouver's amazing. Been to Vancouver, Toronto, and Edmonton up in Canada, man. And
Yeah.
Vancouver's one of them.
Is that your
amazing
favorite
cities.
one out of the three?
Ah,
Or they're all good for different reasons?
they're all good for different reasons. Edmonton's like home away from home, away from home, away from home, because I got a lot of homes away from homes, away from homes.
Do you have family in Canada?
No, I just got my buddies Brett and Diana. They're up there with their 2 beautiful babies. You know what I mean? And you know, I go visit them every summertime up there. Got a lot of people that are associated with the scene in terms of, you know, school up there, in terms of University of Alberta, Edmonton, school boards up there, you know, really trying to, you know, fight for change, you know, trying to, you know, impact, you know, the politics of it all, because Edmonton is kind of like the Austin, you know, of, you know, Canada. And Alberta's like the Texas of the North. It's very, you know, cowboy, rodeo, Alberta beef, you know, kind of things like that. So, you know, a lot of my people like up there, you know, are a little bit more left-leaning and stuff like that. Feel the burn, you know, 2020, you know what I mean? You know, so they're really trying hard to kind of, you know, practice, you know, what they preach in terms of inclusive practices and trying to, you know, let people know, like, yo, like, why you a hater? In, you know, simplistic terms, like, you just a hater. Like, stop that.
Yeah.
We're not hating in 2020. Clear vision, baby.
So Alberta's more of like a right-wing type of place.
As right-wing as they can be in Canada, yeah.
Yeah, because Canada's pretty left anyways.
Yeah, their politics is a little different than ours down here. So,
Yeah.
But, yeah, Alberta. Oh, yeah, it's country out there. But it's like got the most beautiful skyline. It's just like a huge skyline.
Yeah.
You go there during the summertime, it's amazing. But, I mean, that's really the best time to go is like summer, because every time of the year,
white snow everywhere.
It's cold. They had like bitter freezing a few weeks ago, like record temperature freezing or some stuff, like negative 36 degrees and, you know, there's a certain point of time, you know, in the comments, you can correct me, you scientists out there, you know, you young engineers out there. Like, there's a certain point of number where, you know, Celsius and Fahrenheit mean the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think that it
Absolute
reached
zero.
Yeah, it's like, man, you're out there just freezing and just, you know, wondering, my gosh, what am I doing out here? You know,
it's like, I hear, I don't know, I mean, there's places in America where it gets cold in the winter, but then it gets summery, and you have, like, seasons. In California, it's kind of like, it gets colder in the winter, but it doesn't snow unless you're in the mountains.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, yeah, it's like, it sounds like in Canada, it's just, like, most of it is snowing all the time.
Yeah, for the most part, and in Vancouver on the west side, it's mostly raining, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that Seattle kind of flow.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, it's just going to be raining most of the time. It's going to be dark and dreary. So that's why when it's summertime, all the festivals are popping, you know, music and food and, you know, got comedy spots and things of that nature going on, like you said. I mean, during the summertime, it's amazing to go to those kind of, you know, different cities. But where I really want to go is Montreal, because they be speaking the, you know, parlez-vous français, s'il vous plaît.
Don't they hate people who speak English there though?
I heard that, but that's because, you know, trying to push, you know, they see the English as a little, you know, a little snooty, if you will.
Yeah. I feel like it's the opposite. Like, they're snooty and they think we're like, you know, like beneath them for talking like this.
Well, this is the place, you know, Montreal in Canada, they produce, you know, a poetic lyrical genius like Leonard Cohen, man. So, like, hey, I mean, I'd be snooty too if I had a lyrical genius like Leonard Cohen, you know, the man of doom or whatever, with his fancy fedoras, walking around singing like this. I came so far for beauty, I left so much behind. My family and my patience, my masterpiece unsigned. You know, like, yeah, Leonard Cohen, like, I got you, bro. That was my mantra. I'm gonna get tatted right here on my arm, bro. Like that legendary kind of stuff coming from Canada. Of course, it's gonna be snooty, man. I don't blame them. I'm trying to be with them. You know what I mean?
So, okay, so I've heard of Leonard Cohen, but I'm if there's like a gap in my pop culture thing, it's music. Like, as soon as people start talking about, like, oh, Leonard Cohen or
Tupac,
Jay-Z, or like
Prince.
Yeah, but also, I mean, like, you know, Willie Nelson or Dolly Parton, like anyone. I have such a weird.
This is like a long spectrum. Like, we went from like Cohen to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
Tupac to Dolly Parton.
Like, all popular music,
Yeah.
regardless of genre. I'm like, I don't like a lot of it for whatever reason. I don't know why. My interests are always like, I like electronic music. I like bro-y reggae, skank, ska music. You know, like that.
Oh man,
Pepper bullshit.
It's all making sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
I know I'm wrong, but it's what I like. So I don't know, but I can't. It's like I don't like Nick Cave. A lot of people are like, Nick Cave is so amazing, and I'm like, I don't want to be sad when I listen to music. Like I can do that without it. I don't need the music to make me sadder. So.
Oh man, well I mean, there's a lot of good music that won't make you sad, Luke. You just gotta trust me and let me lead you on the promised land path, man.
Yeah. No, there's good stuff. I'm just saying, like, I'm just such a weird, like, I'm not a big lyric guy. Like, if I hear a good one, I'm like, that's cool, but I'm more excited. Like, I just like to feel, like, I like to hear sounds that I like, and both of those genres that I mentioned are kind of like. They're always, a lot of them are more like happy and upbeat, and I usually would rather have that than like get brought down because I think I need to like an upper. I don't want a downer, you know?
Yeah.
If we're talking in drug terms.
I mean, music is a drug, ain't it? You know, just saying.
Yeah. So, I like jazz a lot too.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm not, and again, like it's not, I don't like know the history and I can't name a bunch of stuff, but I like things like Miles Davis and John Coltrane and Art Blakey and Dexter Gordon and Cannonball Adderley.
Okay. You know, there's a lot of drugs in jazz, just saying.
Yeah. There you go.
Speaking of in drug terms, right? You know.
Yeah. I found this thing the other day. This is the one time that an Instagram ad kind of grabbed me. It was this band was advertising their page, and they're like a German marching band, but they cover like electronic music.
Oh my god.
So it's like really cool. It's weird, but it's also like I like instrumental stuff a lot because I want to be able to think, I guess. I don't know. Because I spend a lot of time writing now, so I need things that I can listen to that aren't going to like...
Nah, I hear you. Not have no, like, what they call it, like a, mind worm or earworm or whatever. They kind of digging in your head and just...
Yeah.
Okay, now I can't think of my own stuff because now I'm just repeating, girl, you look good once you back that ass up. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Juvenile, the poet of our, late 90s, Cash Money for the 99.99. Like, that's a little earbug or whatever they call that thing. And just like next thing you know, you're just like, after you back it up, then stop. Now what? Now drop it like it's hot. Like now you can't write.
Yeah, how am I supposed to write jokes?
Yeah, you're right.
Or about aliens.
Yeah, well,
my space thing I'm writing.
Well, Lil Wayne's, he's not the same. He's a Martian, so listen to Lil Wayne, it's kind of going to be the same. So maybe you need to listen to more Weezy.
Maybe, yeah.
Wow, that's who you need to find. Okay. But I get what you're saying, though. I can't really, like, if I'm trying to do something, I'll listen to, like, a lot of lo-fi or chill wave, kind of, that, not so melancholy, but just smooth, kind of,
Yeah, just kind of like a nice,
emotion,
even, wavy bit.
Yeah, there you go, wavy.
Or bit, is that the right word? I don't know, like a beat. I think that's what I meant.
It's all right. I forgive you. We've probably misquoted a lot of statistics on this on this right now.
And we are not experts on anything.
I mean, no, it's just a regular old, two, bros just chilling, reminiscing about the glory years, man.
Yeah. The only way you can hang out with someone and have a real conversation in 2020 is to podcast. So that's why.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here. I'm glad to be here. I hope I get invited again.
Yeah.
I got so much, knowledge in my spaceship. It's sickening, man. I'm just glad to get it out there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like I was telling someone the other night about the podcast is like, I'm a comedian, but that doesn't mean I only want to have comics on. Like, anyone that I want to talk to, like, I just want to have you on because it's like that thing, like the mandate I said for myself is it's like a Joe Rogan podcast. It's not Joe Rogan, but it's like it's like that in that he just has whoever he feels like having on.
Yeah.
And I like that because then it's like, well, and if you're not into the funnier people, then don't watch those. If you're not into this one, don't watch it.
Yeah.
And then I've been trying to make a vlog.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Next level with the vlogs and the blogs, the podcasts. Oh my gosh.
Hashtag content.
You are the Walter Cronkite of comedy right now, bro.
Is that what he did? Did he do vlogs?
I mean, if he was, still...
If he's still around.
Still in the game.
Yeah.
Shout out to Walter Cronkite, man.
Yeah.
That's a good dude right there.
somewhere in a cemetery or something. I don't know what he did. I know that was he the guy that would like he was like the voice of American news back in the day, right?
Yeah.
I never saw him except in clips like.
Well, I mean, he was kind of before our times as millennials, millennials.
Whenever I tell someone I'm a millennial, no, they know.
They know.
They go.
And they clutch their AARP card just ever so tightly
Yeah,
in their
it gets all
left
fucked
hand,
up.
and they're not even left-handed, you know.
Yeah.
They're just
But
weird
they
like that.
bend the shit out of it.
Like, give me my matinee movie and my Social Security.
I need my early bird special.
Gosh, Lee. I mean, isn't that like how weird? Like every generation hates on the ones coming up. And it's been like that forever since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And everybody, I think it's because when people get a little older, they need something to hold on to keep them feeling special. I think that's some psychological
so they
repressed
think
kind
they
of
had
status.
the best time when they were younger.
Yeah, we were the best. You know, our time was the best. Back in my day, we used to run the streets and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, back in your day, you were firebombing churches with little innocent babies and stuff like that. So, yeah, we got dark. Yeah, Black History Month next month. You didn't know we were going to go there, did you? Anyways. So anyway, party is matter. Let's go back to ARIP and IHOP. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everybody want to feel special, right? Like they look at their glory years and, you know, people who have lived that kind of charmed life, they can get away with that, right? You know, there's a lot of talk around privilege and, you know, what is privilege? And then you tell anybody about their privilege, they get all like, well, I've been through some stuff. You can't tell me I had a hard life, blah, blah, blah. It's not that you didn't have a hard life. That's not the issue. The issue is that you have certain privileges ascribed to you based on gender, religion, based on, you know, social economic status or whatever that allowed you possibly to be able to, you know, cut a few more corners than people who don't have that privilege and be a little bit more protected in that little shield and bubble. So if they're talking about like back in my day things were so glorious and, you know, so charming and, you know, like that, I'm like, I don't want to hear that, man. Like, and don't try to smash down the generation coming up behind you. Because let me tell you something, this generation right now, they not believing, you think it's bad that you got older folks that are being put in nursing homes, man. At least they being put in nursing homes. This new generation, the way you pissing them off, like these 18, 21-year-olds, 26-year-olds and stuff like that, you ain't even going to get a nursing home, bruh. Oh, sorry, we ran out of money. You know what you got to do? You got to go sleep in the yard right now on that front lawn, that well-manicured lawn, because, sorry, we had to make cuts. Sorry, budget cuts.
Oh, man,
So just a warning from the future, because we're not the same. I am a Martian, like Lil Wayne.
Wow. That was beautiful.
Sorry, that was a soapbox.
That's okay. No, yeah, the privilege thing is, it's like, I think that if you have it, it's hard to understand it because you don't know what it's like without it.
Yeah.
So then you get defensive.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And like I say, nobody's trying to say that you this and that, but God, for goodness sake, listen.
Yeah.
Please listen for a minute. That's all we want.
Yeah. I have privilege.
What's your privilege?
I'm white.
Yeah. And I got privilege, too, as a cisgender, heterosexual male. You know, as someone who grew up, you know, in a mostly middle class, you know, area, right?
Folsom.
So you know, so you try to acknowledge, you know, the privilege that you got and try not to, you know, to be a jerk. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
You know, just don't be a jerk. Like my boy, you know, my boy T.R. Letton, he's a, you know, author out there. One of his things is just like, just be cool. That's his whole phrase. That's his whole flow. Just be cool. So we're trying to just be cool in 2020. Stop trying to step on other people's toes because you think you're holier than thou and you're not infallible or anything like that.
So, yeah, I feel like so many people, to feel like they have some kind of control or power in the world, they shit on people.
Oh, yeah.
And like I like to do that for fun as a joke. Like I do roast battles, but those are like you both say, yes, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think, you know, you can make fun of things that are like Donald Trump, obviously, make fun of that. But I don't know. I mean, it's like there's some things it's okay in it. But I mean, I think there's some people who just want to like, I don't know. I talked about this. We talked about this on the last episode, kind of just like cancel culture. And like there's people who are just, their job is just like their whole life.
I'm ready to be outraged.
Mission. Yeah. They're starting on angry.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you...
Well, I think some people...
And a lot of those people have privilege. It's like white people that work, they're journalists. It's like, it's very strange.
Well, it's something, you know, it's like any kind of fad. People jump on it and they, you know, want to, you know, roll with it. And, you know, okay, well, we're going to be part of this cancel culture, you know, kind of flow. So let's go ahead and, you know, fight the power in their own, you know, way and stuff like that. Yeah. But, you know, for people who are of that kind of, you know, okay, this is really bothering me and this is really triggering me, you know, they probably do have a history, you know, that is, you know, traumatic. They probably do have a history that is painful and sad, but without actually being able to discuss it and talk about it, and people don't know that.
Well,
so it all seems like reactionary and like, okay, I'm just going, you know, we got to get rid of this and get rid of that. It's like, well, let's talk about it. Tell me a little bit about your story.
It's difficult, too, when it's on like Twitter or Facebook because it's like these little pieces. Like you're not talking to someone. You're posting a comment, and then you're trying to get the most likes and be louder than the other person, and there's no volume because it's text, and it's just,
exactly.
And then you can't. There's no understanding because you don't have like the facial cues and the, there's a lot of time. I hear so many stories listening to other podcasts of like people who have like followings and then they get comments and like they'll get like a DM on their Instagram and be like, how could you make this joke about pregnant women or how could you say this about this or that? And then or like, fuck this guy, he sucks. Like, not even just specifically about a joke. They'll just be like, you suck. And then the person messages them back, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you'd actually message me. And that's so funny to me because it's like this weird... And I remember that feeling. Like, around high school, early college, I would get, like, just angry at, like, a famous person. I'd be like, man, this guy sucks. I think that happened to me once. There was, like, a writer... I really like IGN.com. Do you know that website? They do like
IGN with the video games and movies. Okay, no, I do know IGN. My bad.
Yeah, and they had there's a guy who still writes there, Scott Calora. He's amazing. But back then, like he started writing for them, and for whatever reason, I just didn't like what he would write. I thought he wasn't funny or something stupid. And I remember like commenting or messaging on Twitter, and then he was just like, "Oh well, sorry, I'll try to get better." And I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm so sorry." And then I felt like such a dick. And then I followed him, and like now it's I haven't. But once in a while, I'll like tweet at him, and then he'll like it, and it's cool. But it's like, you don't. If that person's not a person, so that's why the internet's so weird because it just makes everybody like these images and not actual people. Like you lose your 3D-ness. You're 2D or 1D, and it's weird.
Yeah, it's just a soulless entity, just letters and punctuation that is often not correctly used. Grammar that's not often correctly used, and then people are like, "Oh, I can't argue with somebody who doesn't know how to spell the right form of there." Oh, I'm sorry, like my bad. Autocorrect. iPhone trying to do me. It's an iPhone 7. Forgive me.
Or I'm doing stuff. I texted. I didn't have time to
edit.
There
you go. You're welcome.
Oh, man.
You too are also on the iPhone 7 in terms of your processing time, I guess.
Yeah, my brain. They keep putting new software in, and the battery is just like dying. Like I need a new body. Anyone have a body out there for me?
Wasn't that like a Justin Timberlake movie or whatever? Remember, like what was that movie with Time or whatever with the? You just maybe remind me of that movie.
Yeah, I think that I haven't seen it, but wasn't that like a Logan's Run type of thing?
It was, yeah. It was like Logan's Run, which is actually apparently the book's much better than the Logan Run movie, from what I've heard. But
okay, I've never seen or read any. I just know the story that, and I remember the Family Guy clip with Brian.
Yeah.
And he's just like, there's like a diamond in his ruby, and he's just like,
Yeah. Family Guy sometimes has some good episodes. Most of the time, I think they have good episodes. Now they've gotten a little less, worried about being canceled, maybe. Seth MacFarlane's just a Don Juan right now at Fox,
I feel like he probably doesn't even he's probably not that involved in the creative part anymore because he makes that show that's like a Next Generation
he
thing.
Makes, what is it called? It's like Star Trek, the Orville, Yeah, I hear that's a really good show. I haven't seen it.
I liked it. I watched the first season, and it's weird because it'll once in a while they'll have like a really off-color like Family Guy joke, but then also it's the Next Generation.
That's
like it has that like that nice feel where like how Next Generation feels like a couch in space.
Yeah.
Like you're just kind of like lounging and you're
like most of the time it does feel like that.
Hail the Klingons, like it's just
Now we're going into the mess hall and Whoopi Goldberg is talking to me. It's like
and they have time to contemplate big ideas.
Exactly.
And then if you get sick, the Beverly Crusher it may take her like a week, but she'll figure it out.
She'll figure it out. She's too busy, wiping, Wesley's backside because Wesley's still, a big baby. Sorry to the guy that played Wesley Crusher.
Will Wheaton.
But people be making fun of Wesley Crusher on the internet all the time, so I feel like I had to join in, so... But I mean,
but if he walked in right now, you'd be like, "I'm so sorry."
No, I mean, I might have an issue with him still, but I know that that's not him per se. But that was just bad quality writing, director, But that's like the same thing with the situation with Star Wars, with Rose Trico, right? If I probably mispronounced the character's last name,
I think it's Tico, but
something like that. I'm like, like, come on, why are you hating on her? It's not her fault that.
Oh yeah, no, it's not the actress's fault at all.
So that's how you know that toxic masculinity junk is real and exists. Like people just, well, you can't touch my Star Wars, wham, not realizing that Star Wars has never really had the tightest and strongest of storytelling writing. I mean, you look at all 9 of them.
See, I get that argument, but I'm also like, why does it have to be not tight? You know, the Marvel movies are. I mean, they're not like amazing. They're not like Oscar films, but when you watch
Martin
them,
Scorsese.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, if the Marvel movies can be big blockbusters and be satisfying as storytelling, vessels or whatever. Like, I just want Star Wars to be there. Like, I don't... Because when you watch, like... I don't know. I mean, Star Wars is sort of bigger and crazier than Marvel in terms of fandom. But I feel like, we watch Marvel movies and we don't have the same polarization. And with Star Wars, it's like... I feel like it's pretty obvious that they didn't have a plan for this new trilogy.
Yeah.
They recycled too many things.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the storytelling was very, like, one-dimensional. And some of the character stuff. So... That's why I didn't like the new trilogy overall, and also why I think people are so upset, because I think if they were at least had a better, like a slightly stronger storytelling, like if they were just better at storytelling in those movies, then we wouldn't have the same fight that everyone's fighting over. I don't know.
Yeah, I blame boomer culture. Boomer culture came up with Star Wars, the original trilogy.
It's millennial culture for sure.
Well, I don't even think it's millennial culture. I think a lot of the comments I also read is from these old kind of men that just like, my Star Wars back in the day, Princess Leia was Princess Leia, just weird, random like anger on the internet for no reason. But most of those people who watched the movies back then were like kids. They were in teenagers, early 20s and stuff like that. I mean, you do get some of that with the millennial culture too. Unsatisfied, I want it now, and this and this and this kind of, everybody's trying to do this and that. But a lot of people's complaints, related to like, it's social justice warriors, stuff like that. I don't really hear too many millennials talking like that. I hear more older people too.
No, that's totally. And I think those fans are really... They ruin the conversation, because then when they say those things, it sounds like if you have a criticism about the movie that's legitimate, you kind of get lumped in.
Oh
still
my
with
gosh,
the
yes,
racist idiots that are like, how could a stormtrooper be black? And it's like, they're not clones anymore. they even in A New Hope, like those stormtroopers are people that are soldiers that either signed up or were conscripted. They're not clones anymore. So it's like, but people are dumb, and they just watch the prequels and they're like, oh, they're all the Boba Fett guy. So that means forever. It's like, no, they get old and they die, and the clones are having an accelerated growth rate. Yeah. You see that in the movie, and people are just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I hate about the whole, like you're saying, like there is legit criticism with the, Last Jedi. Yeah. And I tell anybody, you come at me on the comment section, I'm ready for you. The Last Jedi was horrible. It was not good. Yeah. It was not good. You telling me we got a slow speed space chase? They're just out of reach. We just can't catch them. We talking about the First Order dog with Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, with force powers beyond measure. You telling me they couldn't catch that little slow-moving spaceship?
And they did when they sent the TIE fighters out. They caught up to... So, like, it doesn't make any sense. There's no resistance in space. There's just vacuum. So you can go however fast you can.
Yes.
Like, they could be going almost to the speed of light. Because you can go up, like... you can, once you start hitting this, I don't know physics, but I know that it's not like they would just both get to a certain speed and be like, all right, I guess can't go any faster, and then be able to launch ships that can go faster. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
It's just ridiculous. You got my boy Luke Skywalker looking like a curmudgeon hermit, you know what I'm saying? You got him drinking, alien breast milk, wiping it like this, you know what I'm saying? And then the next minute he evaporated. Spoiler alert, he evaporates at the end.
Yeah.
He evaporated, Luke.
No, that was lame.
That was weak.
And it's not like... I think when you have something like that, you have to have very clear rules for what the Force is and how it works. And if you're going to have him die at the end from
exhaustion,
space timing too hard, then what you have to do is in the first 20, 30, 40 minutes, you have someone read something or talk about how, Jedi Master so-and-so in this journal I found once...
used this
astral
power
projected and he passed away.
Yeah.
Then when it happens, then you're like, oh, okay, but I think Rian Johnson, when he wrote that, was thinking like, it'll be super badass if Luke Skywalker shows up and doesn't die when he gets blasted by lasers, and then he's just like brushes his shoulder off. I mean,
see you around, kid.
It's a cool moment, but then also it's like it feels empty. Like it feels hollow, just like his astral projection. It's like because it's like so he wasn't there, but he did the thing. I don't know. And then just you were saying the space chase is lame. I thought it was lame to have shitty little speeders and a bad remake of the Hoth battle.
Yeah.
That was stupid. Like I want to see new things.
Salt. It's salt.
Yeah.
Like it's salt.
It's literally like I feel like that's the director going, it's different, guys. I promise. It's not snow.
It's salt.
But
I mean, like, and then the Casino Royale, like,
that was awful.
with the space alien horses and
the goat horses.
I mean, and then tell me no more about Broom Boy at the end with the Jedi powers and the using the Force. I want to know.
That stuff didn't make sense either.
I want to know more about Broom Boy. Broom Boy wasn't even in the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And so you allude to all, but see, Star Wars. This is where I get really upset with Star Wars.
Here we go.
Here we go. Like
I gotta get David Stoffer. Do you know David Stoffer?
I don't know David. I don't think
he didn't go to high school with us, but he was in my kindergarten class,
okay.
and like I went to school with him at Oak Chan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if I see him, I might recognize him maybe from your.
You might from like Facebook. Is that he has a podcast, a brave little podcast.
Okay, cool.
And he does movie reviews. And we talked about The Force Awakens when it came out for like 2 hours one time, and that was great. And so I want to get him back to talk about this stuff because he likes The Last Jedi. He loves it.
Oh man, but see, some people do because it's like. Like I've read online, like if it was a standalone movie, we wouldn't be having this big rage, fest. It was a standalone movie that wasn't in the sequence of the Skywalker quote unquote saga.
Yeah.
Then people wouldn't have been so upset. But since you had, beloved characters like Luke, like, space age Leia out of nowhere, like waking up from the dead and then, I'm going to be back there, just, those little idiosyncrasies or whatever.
Idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, idiosyncrasies. Thank you.
There's a lot of, there's things I like in The Last Jedi. Like, it's not a completely awful movie, in my opinion, but there's just so many things that are stupid that I feel like I can't enjoy it enough. And then, The Rise of Skywalker. That's why I say the number one problem with this trilogy is lack of planning.
Yes.
Because it's very clear, like, if you hire one guy to write something and direct it, he sets up all this cool shit, and then the next guy comes in and goes, no, fuck that, and he kills everything. Then the first guy comes back and tries to bring all the things back. I always think of it as this metaphor of, like, J.J. Abrams created a bunch of action figures and left them in the sandbox. And then Rian Johnson came along and like blew them up with firecrackers and set them on fire.
That seems like something he would do.
Yeah.
No offense, Mr. Johnson.
And then J.J. Abrams comes back to the sandbox. He's like, what happened to my toys?
Yeah.
And he has to glue them back together. And then you get this like shitty movie with Band-Aids all over it. Like it's...
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, Star Wars has always been a series with plot holes. So that's one thing that major critics don't understand is because they're
I just
not
want it to not like you don't have to though. That's my point.
But see, the thing is, like as a whole story, when you include the comics and you include the cartoon shows and the one-off 50-page primer about how Kylo Ren was this and that and how Rey's parents were this and that. Like they'll fill in the holes eventually. It'll be filled in on Clone Wars or some new Disney Plus series or whatever.
Yeah.
But movie critics they're movie critics. I'm not going to digest all this, Star Wars, lore. Fans don't mind that because that's why they die hard. So they'll go ahead and be like, oh, yeah, well, actually, just so you know, they already explained how Luke was able to project himself back in, issue 25 on the one-off from Japan's Marvel series,
Yeah.
Like, nobody got no time for that.
But also, like that you shouldn't need the comic books to explain those things.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, but...
So it's not a critic thing. It's like when you're creating these films, you should have your story group figure this out. And that's what Marvel does.
Yeah.
Marvel has Kevin Feige, which is great because so like when you compare the two companies or the two parts of Disney, right? Lucasfilm, Marvel.
Yeah.
Lucasfilm has a lady, Kathleen Kennedy, she's the president, and she's not a fan of Star Wars.
She's let it be known, yeah.
She's a producer who knows how to create, like she knows how to hire people, get films made. She's produced like like if you look at her IMDb page, she's worked on so many different amazing films, like Steven Spielberg stuff, George Lucas, I think she's done a bunch of things. So, but then when you compare her to Kevin Feige, he's like the same kind of level of creative on the Marvel side. He maybe like he's not the president, but he's the guy that shepherds all the movies, but he is a fan.
Yes.
So, and he's worked at Marvel. Like, he worked at Marvel for years before they even had a film division. So, when you have these two people, like, she's like, yeah, that sounds fine. But then, like, if, you know, a creative decision, she's like, that sounds, like, dramatic and good.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know, like, that it will be stupid, you know, for Star Wars fans. And so, like, Kevin Feige knows, like, if you come up with some stupid Doctor Strange plot point, he'll be like, no, Doctor Strange would never do that. Because he's read the comics and he knows the things. Kathleen Kennedy's probably seen Star Wars. She gets it, but she doesn't care. Yeah. You know, like, her job is to make money, not to also make a good product. Yeah. I mean, she's trying, but it's like... So my thing is, like, I just wish that they had hired someone, you know, and I don't care, dude or woman. That's not my point. My point is, like, it needs to be someone who's grew up with it
like that.
Yeah, who read the legends, who reads the extended universe, who plays the video games a little bit at least. Just they need to know that stuff. And then Lucasfilm has a story group. There's a group of people who track all the different timelines and stories, and and they keep track so that this character is where they're supposed to be at the right time or whatever. And those people should have been more involved in the script, and made sure, like, when Rian Johnson wrote The Last Jedi, that they sort of had meetings and would have been like, well, okay, wouldn't it be cool though if Ahsoka Tano shows up and this happens? Exactly. Because I think, like, if Ahsoka shows up in a film, you can do it in a way where you don't have to, like, confuse people where they're like, they have to watch the Clone Wars to get who she is. You could introduce people like that and make them interesting, and then if you're into it as a fan, you can go back. And I just know that that's possible. So that's why when people just shrug it off and go, this plot's always been bad. Not that you were, like, saying it that way.
No, I hear you.
And I know I'm not. No. But it's like, to me, I'm just like, that's a non-argument, because I know it's possible with Marvel, and Pixar films are also a great example of, like, a kids movie that's also deep and good. Yes. So for me, when they bought Star Wars, I was like, oh, here we go. We're gonna get, like, really good new movies. Yes. And then we got some good stuff, like, for sure. I mean, The Force Awakens is fun, even if it's a complete rip-off of A New Hope. Yes. I enjoyed it. I love the new characters. I was like, Finn and Poe. The chemistry those guys have within 30 seconds. Yes. It's like immediately I'm like, these guys are best friends. And I wanted to see them have a whole film together. And in the next movie, splits them up. I know. It's so aggravating. And you send Finn off on this, like, first of all, it's a boring planet. No one wants to go to Monte Carlo. We did that in James Bond a million times. We did that in Iron Man 2 with the race scene. We don't need that. Yeah. We need, like, I want to see a floating city with,
find
like,
a code breaker. You know, like, I don't need no treasure hunt for the code breaker. Yeah. Who ends up being a dang traitor anyway.
In a random guy, like, it's not even the guy they went to get, and he just shows up and then he has some kind of political message about, well, both sides are buying and paying for weapons. I'm like, yeah, we get it, but where did this come from? Like, you just threw it in there because you don't like war, and, like, then don't make a war movie. Like, it's a Star Wars. Make a Star piece if that's what you want to do. Make your own franchise or make a Disney Plus series. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, Last Jedi was just, it was. I don't know, man.
But I love Rey and Kylo and Luke Skywalker. I loved all that stuff because I liked the way Luke was explaining the Force. I liked the idea of moving forward and building, or I don't like the idea of burning the past, but I like the idea of, like, building on it and finding new ways to interpret it. It's like
which is what Rey does by saving the Jedi, the sacred text, Yoda. You know, saving the text.
Well, that movie contradicts itself because they go, you know, burn the past, forget it. Yeah. Like, we should destroy it. But then then at the end, it's like she saved the book. So, like, what are you even saying, Rian Johnson? What are you saying?
I mean, the throne room scene was amazing. And like they say about, you know, Mr. Johnson, because he might be watching, because I feel like he's kind of one of those trolls that just, you know, lurks around random recesses of the internet and just I
had a conspiracy theory that he's a Star Trek fan that weaseled his way in and ruined Star Wars. He's like, I know this will make them mad.
Oh, yeah. Like, I believe it.
But it's a joke. But
it ain't no joke. Watch.
just like my other conspiracy theory is Zack Snyder is a bro who got like fucked with in high school by nerds.
Yeah.
So then he got really into film, and then he was like, I could make a Batman movie and ruin it, and then make a Justice League movie and make it worse.
I believe it. I mean, you hear about with people like that all the time. They're trying to recreate their life, and if they had certain characters in their life that were bullies or holding them down.
Some people hold on to stuff forever.
Apparently, I read about Dragon Ball Z to switch kind of topics. The character Vegeta, the Prince of Saiyans, one of my favorite characters. Him and Future Trunks, his son, not chibi little Trunks.
I love
but Future Trunks with the
sword.
That's one of my favorite characters on that show in an anime manga period. But apparently, what I read was like the creator Akira. Never know how to pronounce his last name. Sorry, brother.
Toriyama?
I think it's Toriyama. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Something like that.
But apparently, Vegeta was, some bully he met, when he was a kid or whatever. So he wanted to create a character similar to that bully who, no matter how hard he works, he will never be able to overcome the good guy, which is Goku, which apparently would be Akira.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they got random theories like that on the internet, but I'm sure it's true.
I like that better, though, because that's using that conflict as a creative thing versus it's a conspiracy theory. It's not real. But that Zack Snyder or that Rian Johnson would like infiltrate and ruin something. It's not, they're not putting it into the movie as like interesting character drama. It's like, I'm just going to dismantle this from the inside and make it implode and
I think you probably more on money than you think, brother. I'm just saying, like
maybe I should work on that as a bit, like stand up, like talk about Rian Johnson being a Star Trek fan.
Then it'll be cancel culture with you, man. They'll be like, this guy's against the Last Jedi and Mr. Johnson. I'm gonna call him Mr. Johnson. You spell your name R-A-N or R-I-A-N. Ryan.
We know a Ryan that spells it that way.
Do we?
Ryan Brissell. Do you know?
I don't know Ryan Brissell, but sorry, Ryan.
Wait, don't you know Ryan? I thought you knew.
Ryan,
okay,
but apologies, Ryan.
My friend,
I'm just talking about Rian Johnson real quick.
Yeah. No, I worked. There's a guy I met when I worked at Borders.
Okay.
And he's engaged to my friend Aaron. I met him first, and I met Aaron later. But they're going to get married this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. I can't make your wedding. I'm sorry. It's in Mexico. Like it's far.
Ooh, where in Mexico?
The beach somewhere.
Puerto Vallarta?
It might be.
Yeah, that's a nice little place. People go get married. And,
I have the invitation in my room. I just don't remember.
Yeah. Okay.
But, I mean, that part doesn't bother me that his name's all right. But I get it.
I'm just making fun of him. I'm just being a bully to a millionaire that's made, Looper or whatever movie they keep quoting.
I like Looper.
I've never seen Looper. I hear it's amazing, though, because
good.
Everybody cites it all day, every day.
I want to see Knives Out. I haven't had a chance. But what I wanted to do was buy a Rise of Skywalker ticket and then walk into Knives Out. Give my money to Star Wars. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I don't know.
Star Wars, I mean, like I said, I love the plot of Luke Skywalker and the Jedis and the Sith.
Yeah.
I like a lot of, the kind of Buddhist kind of, good versus evil. There is no good kind of balance of the Force. Obviously, that George Lucas was exposed to when he was younger and balancing some of that spiritualism. I like that, I
love that. And I was hoping that The Last Jedi would explore that more and be everybody was, the theory crafting was, Rey's going to be a gray Jedi, and she'll find some kind of new balance between where, if you're an individual, you don't have to join the dark or the light. You can use both and kind of temper it and
be a gray Jedi, they say on the internet. And
that's
stuff.
What Ahsoka is later. in Rebels, and that's a cool idea. And I love maybe transforming what the concept of a Force user is.
Yeah,
that would be real growth and change in the film franchise instead of this standard of we have to have the underdog rebels resistance and the overlord Sith or Empire First Order bullshit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of fans were hoping there's the Legends now. It's not the
not the expanded or extended universe or whatever. Yeah.
The old stuff that was books and stuff that doesn't count anymore.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were expecting something more like that where it was more like there's a republic now again, and then they're trying to take out the last Empire remnants or bring them together or something.
Yeah.
And that would have been better, I think, if there was Thrawn.
Yeah.
Would have been a great character.
Yeah, General Thrawn, yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool if and then he was sort of gathering the rest of the Empire together, and then that was the war.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to, to allude to the fact that, the rebels defeated, the Empire, and now you have the New Republic or whatever, and you know
And you
nothing.
just destroy it right
away.
away.
You know nothing about it. There's no information about
exactly.
Maybe in the Mandalorian they'll touch on some of it, but I doubt that they will because it's really focused on
that show's about being on the edge of everything.
Yeah,
and like
two-man tribe basically.
Yeah,
so it's like it's not going to really dive deep into like the inner mechanics of like, okay, now you have a bunch of, snot-nosed punks, basically, and they defeated the evil empire. Now what? I mean,
that would have been so much more interesting, like the issues with like trying to maintain the government, and not in a boring way, the way the Phantom Menace does it, but just I would have loved to see, I wanted a balance between like the fun battle stuff and the political subterfuge and like machinations. Like Game of Thrones does that show until the last season, maybe the last 2 seasons, did a great job of like balancing like action, drama, and like political intrigue and stuff. Yeah. And like I'm not saying you got to like have this crazy like everyone's fucking each other type of Star Wars thing. I'm just saying like I wanted to see like the galaxy, like I want to see new planets. I want to see aliens. I want to see alien planets.
I want to see more temples, Sith and Jedi temples. I want to meet, like you said, people who are not either of.
Yeah. I want to see new worlds with like interesting architecture and like beautiful vistas and like purple skies and green and or like just weird stuff. And like I was hoping they would balance the prequels with the old stuff and merge it instead of just going all the way back to the beginning and being like desert planet, forest planet, ice planet, salt planet. It's like planets don't work that way.
Yeah. Barren volcano type of planet, Exegol kind of, status with Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, like what is Exegol? It's like it looks like a lifeless moon with storms.
Yeah, it's like
there's no
nothing
geography, no like there's a giant temple which is kind of cool, but it's so blank. Like when they're in that room with the Emperor on his little like robot arm, spoilers, and there's all those people, the Sith cultists.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are those guys?
Where'd they come from? Out of nowhere.
Yeah,
they just been chilling. Where these Sith live? Supporters.
Yeah, are they ghosts? Are they real people?
They could have been just 1 million Emperor Palpatine clones in the crowd. Yeah. You don't know. You didn't.
Could have been
them.
holograms.
I know, right? Like, I don't know. That was
It was so strange.
It was called. We need to try to salvage the fan base, the more toxic portion of the fan base.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just be like, okay, we'll take a little something from the Legends series, the expanded extended universe or whatever.
Yeah, he was cloning himself, kind of.
Yeah. So we'll do a little something like that to toss a little bone to y'all, hardcore fans, but.
You're right.
It didn't make sense at all. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, the Rise of Skywalker really feels like a marketing test audience wrote it. Like it was just like, well, the Emperor tests well. He's a good bad guy. We'll put him back in. I don't really know about this. I don't know, Maz Kanata. Let's not really do that too much. I don't know. It's just weird.
I was a little frustrated by it too, man. But it is what it is. Hopefully they'll be able to do some better, shows and.
Well, the Obi-Wan shows. You hear what happened?
That has to be great. But did I hear what happened?
Oh, so they had to take the set. They paused the show to completely rewrite the scripts. So they let everyone go from the production.
Oh, bad
and
sign.
They postponed it. Yeah. I mean, I would rather they take the time and make it good.
But see, now you got to worry about them just being gun shy.
Yeah.
Now they're just gun shy. It's like, okay, we're not going to even, if it doesn't, meet the smell test, we're not even going to try.
There was one rumor that the main reason was the writing, like the storyline was too close to the Mandalorian because it was like Obi-Wan watching over Leia and Luke.
Yeah.
So I think they were worried that there was like too much of a Mandalorian Baby Yoda dynamic.
Yeah.
But that's a rumor that I read. I don't know if that's what really happened,
Yeah.
But I was excited. I was hoping for like a show where Obi-Wan's kind of going around and like dealing with loose ends from the Clone Wars. Like there was a rumor that Jar Jar Binks would come back
with a beard.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, "Fuck Jar Jar," and I agree. But also, if they wrote it well and you got to see him like sad and like.
And he dies in episode 3, Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like
horribly.
I mean, come on, man.
1,000 cuts kind of thing.
Why not? He dies as a hero, right? You know? Saves Obi-Wan on Tatooine, and
but how amazing would that scene be if he's having a sad drink with Obi-Wan, and he's just lamenting that he's the one who voted for emergency powers and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then it was like partly his fault that the Empire even happened.
Yeah.
That would be a great scene.
Fans forget that. Yes,
Yeah.
it was partly his fault. He was the one in chamber.
Misa vote for emergency powers for the Chancellor.
And then bows down and everybody cheers and he's like, I did it, guys. Like, no, you just screwed us all over.
Yeah. It'd be even better if he had like a nice apartment and a house and he had all the stuff he wanted, but he was sad.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, just drinking himself to death off of
Tatooine
moonshine.
Looks great. He's like, maybe there's like a scene where he's like doing like some kind of, he's like, you know, signing something or giving people like the key to the city or he's like at the opening of like a brand new store and they're using his name to promote, you know, like the war hero Jar Jar Binks, and then he goes home and he's just like, Misa ruined everything. And he's just drinking like whiskey alone, you know.
Yeah, from the moons of Endor whiskey too at that.
Yeah. That'd be so fascinating to see, but I think like I don't know what's going on over there, but I just don't think they have that like creative impulse to go that extra little bit to like where does this story go next? Like what's an interesting twist or thing to build on to like explore something instead of just like get to a lightsaber fight scene or But even then, like if you're gonna just make Star Wars one-dimensional and action-y, have good action scenes.
Yeah, just do it.
And The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker both sucked. Yeah,
don't have Luke Skywalker just be a hologram. But like I said to Ryan Johnson, I'll give you your props, Ryan. Since there's other Ryans with an I out there that might get angry in the comment section. I mean, the throne scene,
he's watching.
The throne scene was amazing.
That
was an epic fight scene, except for Snook just getting, sliced in half randomly.
That felt like he just wanted to surprise people. Like, whoa, can't believe. You know, like that's what that felt like. It wasn't so much, but the chase scene was so lame. The slow Grapes of Wrath chase. Yeah,
and then like I said, not having it be Leia who's commandeers the ship that, drives itself through all the, First Order ships. That would have been an easy way to say, look, we honor Leia, we honor Carrie Fisher's memory. This is something that Carrie Fisher being, the kind of hardcore, strong, woman that she is would do if she was, in that kind of situation as Leia, right? Just to honor that character that she had in real life. But instead, it's like you let, the purple hair person, I don't remember her name.
Admiral Holdo.
No offense to her.
I love Laura Dern as an actress.
Laura
I hated
Dern's
that
nice,
character.
but that character, I mean, that was just a waste of time.
They just introduce her and then tell you in a sentence like who she is, and then you're supposed to be like, oh, she has authority now. And I know there's a lot of political messaging in that like, like listen to women. And I love the idea. It's great, but the execution was terrible. I mean, because the way the movie portrays her, we're on Poe's side. Like we see Poe's perspective.
Yeah.
So every time she tells him to do something, we're not like, yeah, listen. We're like, oh no, she's trying to kill everyone, because that's the movie's perspective.
Yeah.
So like, if you want us to believe her and be on her side and see that Poe's a dick that needs to grow, then you should make her more sympathetic.
Yeah.
It's just filmmaking and script writing. Like, it's just how that works.
Yeah.
But the way they show her in the movie, she seems like a dick.
Yeah.
And
she was a jerk, regardless of what.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, she had a plan, but the plan was send off a bunch of escape pods to get blasted to a planet that's a dead end.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to a planet where they just are supposed to hide behind a giant wall. Like, that's a horrible plan.
Tastes like salt.
Yeah. Plus, like, you can argue all you want, like, well, they were in a desperate situation. Like, well, they wouldn't have been in that exact situation if you had wrote a different situation.
Exactly.
Like, it's all contrived at the end of the day. Like, you're not following some predetermined script. Like, you wrote this idea that they're out of gas and that they have 3 spaceships left. How are they fighting a galactic threat with 3 spaceships? Like, they shouldn't even be trying to kill them because they're not a threat.
Yeah, not a threat.
It makes no sense. And that's again, like we were talking about, like the world. Like, I want to see it's a galaxy.
Yeah.
I want to see the galaxy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to see the edges like of it. I want to see the metropolises. I want to see the people. I want to see them being oppressed by the First Order.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see the reach of the First Order, the reach of the Resistance. I want to see those things. And it's like, we're really just kind of following these characters on their personal journeys, which is great, but not galactic.
Yeah, not when you got Disney money and you can really, do that kind of imaginative,
exactly.
This scene is here on this planet with these people. And, Disney has the writers and creative staff amongst all 3 divisions,
And they could hire people who would love to work on Star Wars and do it justice.
Yeah, I mean, if Pixar can have a lot of emotional heaviness to their movies, then why don't you have writers from there, adding it to the Star Wars, series? So I don't know. I just know that I was a little, I was disappointed in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, I was disappointed with some of the, the new trilogy, but I also, I'm not a hater. I'm not going to be one of these old fuddy-duddy curmudgeon social, justice bashing men on the internet talking about how Rey was a Mary Sue. Luke Skywalker didn't have no training. This is, spoiler alert, this is supposed to be the daughter of Palpatine, bro. So that makes sense that she'd be able to pick it up and just do things. Y'all haters out there and stuff like that. Leave my Rey alone. My Ray of sunshine.
That's beautiful.
I try to be poetic. I do write poetry.
So. I will say they should have had some scenes in The Force Awakens where maybe there's like a downed TIE fighter or in one of the Star Destroyers on Jakku where there's like a flight simulator and she like steals away and goes in there and that's how she learned how to fly. Because it is weird, like, why is she such a good pilot?
Yeah.
What on this junk planet would teach her how to fly in the Millennium Falcon? But if she was like in one of those Star Destroyers and she found like a flight simulator.
Yeah.
And that would have been interesting. Then we could see like, you see those Star Destroyers, you see certain parts of it. Then you get a chance to like see a different part of it and like it makes it more 3D, like the world's real. Like they have training facilities on these ships, but it's all broken down because it crashed and she like put it back together and made it work. Like that would be fun. Instead of like, like it's cute to see her sit outside of the AT-AT with her helmet on eating and being like, having fun eating my weird little bread that grows out of liquid. And I mean, that's great too, but I think there's more efficient ways. And then you wouldn't have had the Mary Sue thing so much because it would have been like, oh, she learned how to do it from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, she also is in tune with the Force. We know the Force is magical, right?
Yeah.
You had little Anakin Skywalker, blowing up, ships, after pod racing only.
That could be argued. That he's a Barry Sue,
Yeah, he's a big old Barry Sue.
Yeah.
Look at that Barry Sue walking around Anakin Skywalker. This is great.
He can just do everything.
Pod race. Now this is pod racing.
Wizard.
But then he's able to get one of the, the ships on Naboo and fly it and, in a recreation of the New Hope again.
But at least, in that movie, they set up like, well, he's been training in the pod racer. He built his own. He's been learning this stuff. So when he gets into a spaceship.
A high-pressure situation where they're fighting the separatists and he's able to navigate in high-pressure situation, to fire the blasters at the right time.
Well, if you have like angry alien dickheads that are trying to crash you, the jump is easier to make for me than like someone who lives in an AT-AT and doesn't like where. And again, like I don't think she's a Mary Sue. I just think that if you're writing a script, like you have to show us the stuff that leads to the other things. Otherwise, I shouldn't be making up stuff in my head to like justify.
Well, part of the issue is also JJ and all them alluded to. Who is her parents? Is it going to be Han Solo and, Leia? And they didn't want to go all the way to the Legends kind of series where you have, Jason Solo and I forget who his sister's name is.
Jason and Jaina?
Yeah, there you go. Jason and Jaina.
And then they have Anakin later. And
know. And he ends up, who he killed? I think he didn't kill Anakin. Who did he kill in the extended universe?
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca, yeah.
I've read the Wikipedias. I've never read these books, though.
But. Yeah, but, that's basically what they were alluding to with Force Awakens, that we're going to have. These are the same kind of story in terms of you have brother and sister. They don't know their brother and sister, so allude to, the original trilogy. And so Rey's going to have to kill a brother. But, but they didn't go that route because probably Ryan, had the Last Jedi. So JJ's like, you know what? I'm going to do, I know these, Kylo Ray shippers out there.
Yeah.
They want that. So actually, they're not related. Actually, they are complete opposites.
Their dads were work friends. Kind of, right?
I mean, for real though, right? So, I
would have been really happy if Rey was like her parents were like
Nobody.
Her whole parent. Yeah, like because that's another thing. When I heard the title, The Force Awakens, I was like, oh, that means we're going to have new people who are becoming Force users.
Yeah.
Because there's just that concept has been there for a long time that the Jedis, they would go out, they would find Force-sensitive children, take them and train them.
Yeah.
So do the math. Like in a galaxy of trillions of people, a lot of those people are going to become Force-sensitive. Just they're born that way, like X-Men. And so like all over the place, there's going to be people that don't have training, don't have anywhere to learn. Some of those people will become evil because they'll just be like, I can't control my emotions. And then some people are cool and they'll maybe figure it out. So I was hoping for like Jedi Academy, build the Jedi Order back up.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Explore like new people. We don't need more Skywalker. Like why are you, it's like you could still have Skywalkers. Ben Solo can still be Ben Solo or Kylo Ren. I don't care. But I'm like, I wanted Finn to be a Jedi. I wanted Rey to be a Jedi.
Oh, no. And I was hoping if you're going to have Finn be able to wield a lightsaber like he was, also, once again, without any training. Yeah. I thought people with lightsabers supposed to have some training.
Stormtrooper training.
I guess, if you want it. But a lightsaber? The weapon of a Jedi? And you're able to, stand toe-to-toe with Kylo Ren? Oh, come on, dog.
Well, he didn't for too long.
Well, he still he
only fought that other stormtrooper in one. Kylo Ren fucked him up. He sliced his back open. Yeah.
That was legit, though. I love that. Come on. Yeah, Finn. Go ahead, Finn. Yeah, whoop the mess out there, bro.
That was cool. And I thought that fight scene was great because he wasn't like, smooth with his moves. He was just like doing what he could.
Yeah, he's berserker with it.
But he probably had the same, maybe a little less, but the same training as that guy with that baton thing. Yeah. So I feel like it translates. I don't know. I'm not. But it's a jump you can make again.
That's a big leap. The lightsabers were supposed to be. You think about someone.
It's just a sword, though.
He was trained as a stormtrooper, but he's able to stand. I don't care if it was 2 minutes. Kylo Ren should have messed him up. Especially after he killed his daddy, and he was emotional and stuff, and he was saying traitor. He yelled traitor too. He don't ever get no props for yelling traitor because Battle Hammer guy, was more cooler with it.
He could have. And this is another thing. Like I shouldn't have to do this in my head, but I tell myself like, well, Kylo was angry, but he was also playing with him, so he's kind of like having fun before he kills him. You know what I mean?
Oh man, well he's certainly in his granddaddy.
My light went out.
Well, that's because, the dark side of the Force is trying to enter this space right now. But we're not going to let it happen. We're not going to let it happen at all.
Our hair light is gone. This is kind of working. But I had that other light back there.
It's all good. Yeah, I don't know. It is. I just wish that it could have been better. But I do feel like a lot of these haters online, they need to grow up. They need to, get outside the house. They need to,
If you're going to criticize, have good criticisms, not racist or sexist or whatever. Weird, like stupid ones,
I get so tired of these bros that think they're so manly by saying, oh, these SJWs, social justice warriors, Mary Sue, you're a grown man getting upset about what is a sci-fi movie that is supposed to be also for kids too. Like, shut up. Go home. Just go to bed, get your ginseng on, AARP card stuff or whatever. And if you're our age or younger hating like that, then you got a problem. You need to wake up. It's 2020. We about to feel the burn right now. You know what I'm saying? You better get woke, because if you don't get woke, the Matrix gonna be unplugged on you on purpose without you knowing. So the revolution now, baby. So they better, feel the burn. They better support my woman Rey, Palpatine. Actually, no, Rey Skywalker. Let me say that, Rey Skywalker.
Those have been my favorite memes on the internet.
Oh,
there's one where it's Ron and Harry on the train in the first Harry Potter. Yeah. And Ron's like, "Who are you?" And Harry looks out the window and he goes, "I'm Harry Skywalker." It's so good.
And then they had one more meme. I'm a wrestling fan, so me and my boy Ed and his girlfriend Holly were big into WWE wrestling, and so they have Rey, they have her like staring off, and the woman's like, "Who are you?" "I'm Rey Mysterio," and they put the luchador mask on her.
That's really good.
I'm like, yes. Put Rey Mysterio in the next Star Wars movie, please.
Yeah. I think we got to wrap it up. I got to get going.
All right, no worries, my friend.
My girlfriend's gonna kill me.
Well, that's what love is. How long
Death.
y'all been? How long have you been dating, y'all?
Over a year.
Over a year?
Like a year and 2 months or so.
I'm a romantic. I believe in love still, even with the heartbreaks and, pains I've had, reminiscing about little Miss Clementine Churchill, who I left behind to go to China,
I feel like you create this mythology that, it's like this bigger, larger than life thing. But I'm like, how many, I guess people, you probably tell other people.
Yeah.
But you told me a bunch, so I feel like I know this weird, sad story. You should write a graphic novel.
Well, I mean, if you check out my music on gmile.bandcamp, oneword.com, and check out some of my YouTubes, you'll get the story.
Yeah.
But I mean, the bigger thing is when we mythologize kind of, loves that, could have been or lost or whatever, is, a lot of people can relate to that, right? A lot of people have those kind of stories. And, we try not to, show regret, but we honor the memory. And then, if something is to occur in the future, whether between us, whether between new people, for her or myself or whatever, we just, we honor that and we put that energy out there. So at the end of the day, still love. Maybe one day we'll find each other once more. But at the end of the day, it takes two for someone to be the one. So you be that one to your one, and you make two. No more, no less.
Wow.
That's how the Sith move. Speaking of love is the dark side of the Force.
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate you inviting me, man. This is fun.
Do you want to plug your Twitter and your Instagram or anything like that?
I mean
you just plug, the Bandcamp.
The Bandcamp. You look on YouTube, it's GMILE, one word, Gmile. You'll find some of my music videos. Some of my little poetry things, speeches that I've done around the way, and I also did a TED Talk when I was in Shanghai too. So, if you find me on either Bandcamp or, Instagram is just my regular Instagram, Black Caesar 777. Black Caesar himself, baby. You can find me there too. But just, holler at your boy Epic Tiki over here and, let's conversate, let's communicate, man. Let's argue too. Civil discussion is missing in the world, so I like to debate, and I'm a learner, so let's do it.
I agree, 100%. Follow us at Epic Tiki Comedy on Twitter, at Epic Tiki on Instagram, youtube.com/Epic Tiki Comedy. If you're watching this, then you're already here. Please hit the subscribe button. Comment below, like the video. I hate saying it. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, for life, like the NWO, baby.
See ya.
Yeah, later.